morning, everyone. Welcome back. And today I am very excited to have with us Mr. Desmond So. He is the founder and chief consultant for East-West Institute of Applied Etiquette. Now, for those of you who think Mr. Desmond So looks kind of familiar, you probably have seen him on TV because he definitely knows how to live a good life. But apart from that, he is also an expert in not only etiquette, but also professional presence and professional impact. So please join me in welcoming Desmond with us today. Desmond, good to see you. How are things over there?
Good morning, Donald. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And I know right now we're all facing very uncertain times. Coronavirus is prevalent everywhere in the world. A lot of things are changing and a lot of things are very uncertain. Desmond, let me ask you this. When we're facing these difficult, uncertain times right now, a lot of social norms are changing. The norm of social distancing is becoming more and more common these days. Now, for us as professionals and for your executive clients, how can they still maintain their professional presence while staying vigilant against the coronavirus?
I think, Donald, this is a great chance actually to get in touch with clients and to maintain relationships that sometimes we don't get a chance to do when we're busy with all our daily tasks. So I think use this as an opportunity to reconnect with people. And I think one great way of doing it is exactly what we're doing today, which is Zoom video or any kind of video media, but pick up the phone. I always say, these days in our technology world, it's so easy to send a WhatsApp or send a text or an email. And actually, I always feel those things are not as human. In fact, this period forces us to pick the phone up, even if it's not a video call, pick the phone up, check in with clients, say hello, ask how things are with them, see how you can help out, offer help. And I think that's really a great way to get conversations started and to just keep yourself on the radar. I think something else to keep in mind is always, even when you are doing these calls, keep certain things in mind. I mean, maintain your professional presence. If the meeting is an interview where it requires you to dress up, don't forget to do that, because these days a lot of people are working from home and it's so easy to do it from your bedroom, or when I've heard people who put on a jacket and tie up top, but then they're wearing their PJ pants. Stay away from things like that, because you never know, the camera could fall down and you'd be terribly embarrassed. Pick a room in your house if you're working from home that you want people to see. I think, for example, your living room or your kitchen is a much better spot to do a video call than, let's say, your bedroom, which is much more intimate. You might not want people to see that, and it actually could make the other party feel uncomfortable when they see you in such a private environment. And like I said, dress-wise, you're going to behave the way you dress. That's why we dress well. That's why we dress professionally, because you behave according to how you feel in your appearance. So don't forget to dress properly, take it seriously. So those are some of the tips I'd say you should adapt to. But, it's interesting because etiquette, social etiquette, business etiquette are things that are always changing. The principles always stay the same. The principles being, honesty, consideration for the fellow man, respect for the fellow person. But if you think about it, over time, etiquette rules do change. If I asked you, Donald, when was the last time you wrote a handwritten note to someone? You would probably say, I don't really remember the last time I did that, a handwritten letter, These days, people aren't even writing emails. They're just writing a short text message. So, etiquette is always changing. And so when we're faced with something that has never been seen before, like this coronavirus and the effects of the world, it just demonstrates that, etiquette does adapt to certain things like these.
That's beautiful. And etiquette itself is so much more important than just the corporate world. I mean, if you think about the current health virus situation we have right now, maybe perhaps that could have been different if the world had different etiquette standards. Desmond, let me ask you, I mean, from your professional opinion, how could practicing better etiquette help reduce the chances of future pandemics?
I'm not a medical expert in any way, but I think, what this pandemic around the world has taught us is a lot of just basic hygiene principles. And when we talk about etiquette, it's really about that as well. Of course, when I teach dining etiquette, this comes into play, especially in terms of keeping a hygienic environment for yourself and fellow diners. But I think this applies outward to our daily lives. For example, every health organization around the world, I think unanimously are adopting and promoting principles like washing your hands frequently and not touching your face. And it makes you realize how often, for example, we touch our faces, right? There have been studies that say we touch our faces 50 to 100 times every day without even realizing, just touching your nose, licking your finger to turn a page, or rubbing your eyes. And these things are, in fact, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but in this day and age, it could be the difference between being infected and staying infection-free. So I think really the etiquette principles here have a lot to do with basic hygiene principles of etiquette, which is, washing your hands, not touching your face. It's not good to touch your face anyway from a professional standpoint. You don't want to be doing things like that. And also being mindful of things that, sneezing, make sure you sneeze into your elbow. If you're going to sneeze into your hand, go wash them before you go shake somebody's hand. This is just, once again, it's that principle of consideration.
A lot of these things are things which we all know, but we don't commonly practice. Like I always say to people, it may be common sense, but not common practice. Desmond, I mean, just this virus situation right now, a lot of things are changing with norms. Are business etiquette norms being affected in any way? I mean, let me give you one example. We used to shake hands when we meet people in meetings, and then it was the fist bump, and now it's the elbow bump, right? Like, yo, give me some elbow, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. But how are universal business etiquette norms changing now with this whole situation?
Well, one norm is what we're doing right now. Once again, Donald, people aren't even going to work. We're not seeing each other in the office because, it's just for safety and practical reasons, people are not gathering even in small groups. So there's, forget about less physical contact. Sometimes there's not any even physical contact at all. It's really just kind of virtual contact in the virtual world. I think when you do see people, be practical about it. I mean, right now we're talking about safety and well-being. So take it seriously. I think any professional would understand if you're not going to shake their hand. Now, this is something that must be practiced, and it must be kind of put into our daily lives and remembered. And I remember when this pandemic first broke out in the US, you saw president and the vice president there. They kind of did the elbow bump a few times to stress the point, but then 5 minutes later, they're at a different meeting and they thought, oh, this is kind of silly. And then they started shaking hands again, and that defeats the purpose, right? I think once again, people are forgiving if you don't do the normal thing right now in these very unusual times. So I think, the elbow bump is one of them. The other day, someone did a foot bump with me. He stuck out his foot and we just kind of bumped our ankles. I thought that worked as well. But I think really it's not so much about what the action is. These actions will come and go. People are getting imaginative. Maybe it's just a pat on the back. But really, I think the thing to remember here is humanity and treating your fellow person with respect. Because what is a handshake? It really is to give the other person a chance to have a physical contact that tells them, I want to meet you, I'm friendly, let's be friends, let's get some business done. That's the purpose of a handshake. So I think in these times, it's important to forget that, to not forget that the other person is human. It's another human being on the other side. These things, you hear stories of people who are doing not so nice things to other people because, they feel they've come off a plane or your neighbor's been infected or is in quarantine, and then you treat them like they have the plague. It's a human being on the other side of that door. I know you don't want to have physical contact, but slip them a note under the door, say, hey, can I help you out? I know you can't leave your house. Can I help you to go get some groceries? And I can leave them outside your house. Do something nice for your neighbor. I think this is such a good time to get in touch with your human side and reach out to other people who are in need of help, because we all know living in a big city like Hong Kong, and I really don't believe it's different in any other big city around the world, let's say Hong Kong or New York City or Los Angeles. And sometimes when we live in a big city, although there are lots of people around, we tend to be even less friendly than if you lived in the countryside where there are no people. So this is a great time to reach out to your fellow neighbor, someone you don't know, and just say, hey, can I help you out?
That's beautiful. I mean, we thank you so much for that. Like I said before, etiquette is just so much more than just how to eat and how to go out there and act. It's actually an act of human kindness. And so that extends a lot more than what we actually all are facing right now. Thank you so much. And for those of you guys who want to ask Desmond more questions, please feel free to leave any comments or questions over here on our channel. If not, if you want to contact him directly, also, you can go to his website. It is www.eastwestetiquette.com. So thank you once again, Desmond, and we hope you stay healthy, stay safe, and stay happy. This thing will all pass away real soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.